Good morning there, good evening here. It's a real pleasure to share with you our experience involved with improving the distribution system of food here in Colombia through a new, very interesting initiative uh, that has been working for 3 years, and now we are working on a special plan called the information system of the food distribution chain called Sumerce. It's a Spanish term that was traduced as an Indian term that means su mercado de la región central, your market of the central region, Sumerce. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay, thank you. The central region of Colombia is composed of 5 different provinces at the city capital. We've been working from 2019, developing the Central Region Food Supply Plan, because we have a lot of known problems that make very high cost and very problematic to take the food from the fields to the tables of the people. And we have no certainty about where do the food is being produced, where do the producers are being placed. We don't know where do the facilities are established, and we don't know clearly where do the food is being taken. The food takes a long trip from the origin to the place where finally is consumed, and many times food is produced in a place, then is sold 2 or 3 times to middlemen, and goes back after 400 kilometers to be consumed in the same place where it was produced. So since the year 19, we start developing the plan, and we choose the best allies to do the work. And in that time, we need to find international standards to establish the 5 different strategies. I will work later on this speak. But we find GS1 Colombia, represented here by Lógica Asociación. And GS1 Colombia had a tradition of work with the national government and international allies too. They started working with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in Colombia, and they started a special program called the Value Networks Initiative. It was oriented to make small and big improvements using technology, information technology, and logistic improvements in different areas. They started working then with the International Trade Center and try to improve the work of the small and medium enterprise in cooperation with different cooperatives and association of farmers in Colombia. Then then they started working with the ADR, the Agency for Rural Development in Colombia. Is a really new entity in Colombia, and they established the standard of GS1, especially the global location number. And was one day we met again, because I have worked with them before, to start working with different companies in Colombia Productiva, and finally we make an alliance to work in the Central Region Food Supply Plan, especially for the Sumerce information system, because we decided to implement the GS1, the global location numbers, and the barcodes from the very beginning of the development of our information system. So we knew too that they have already planned and recruited at least 130,000 farmers in their global location numbers. They have about 10,000 companies, small companies, and they have more than a million, 500,000 small businesses included. It is very important to us because we not only need to make contacts with our central region, but in Colombia and the world too. Many of our products goes goes abroad, and some of the products that we use come from the different cities and countries of the world. This is the importance of implementing national and international standards. The central region is a big small country inside Colombia. It's the center of Colombia. We are almost 16 million people, but of that big quantity of people, only 2.1 million people lives in rurality, and we have only 750,000 farmers producing. This central region produces the 26% of the total of the food production in Colombia, and we have a big. Many of the food that comes to Bogota, the capital city of Colombia, goes back. 46% of the food that comes to Bogota goes back to the region again, and it makes a logistic challenge too. There are other quantities that are important to show. Is that the central region produced 39% of food loss and waste in Colombia is about 4 million tons yearly. The other important number is that 54% of the farmers are older than 50 years and 70% are older than 70. We have old field people who is in charge of the food of the country. But what is worse is that 88% of the farmers receive less than the minimum wage in Colombia. It's very hard because it's not attractive to the young people to stay in the field producing food. And what is more sad is that we have 52% of the homes in food insecurity. It's good to show and to say to the audience today that the food insecurity in Colombia is not because the lack of disponibility, is not because the problem of the inequity, but it's because the people has not enough money to buy food. Today, we believe that 2 of every 5 families have only 2 or 1 food daily. It's very sad because we have a lot of food to eat, but we can bring it to the final points. So we, in collaboration with GS1 Colombia and several allies, we make the 5 strategies for food supply plan that are whose pillars, or I will read, is the first one is the diversified and sustainable offer for rurality modernization. It happens that we have concentrated the demand in about 17 products. It's a small quantity. We have no diversity in our food, and it brings problems to the fields too. But also the sustainability of the food production is a very high risk because of the water and because of the land and the earth and the cost of production, and especially because we have a small quantity of people producing. The second strategy is the development of logistic distribution processes, because we have a lot of problems in the fleet. Our fleet is more than 22 years old in average, but we have a lot of opportunities to implement standards in the transportation of food. Is the second strategy. The third one is the management of demand and alimentary citizenship. We mean with that the people must start being clear about how the food is being produced and the responsibility of people with the region that is producing the food. The fourth one is the supply and sustainability, quality and innovation. We have been using the same production method that, believe me, about 100 years ago. And the last one, and not less important, is the governance of the food system. The people who really makes the work, and the people who really produce the food can take decisions on the system, and there are a small quantity of people who really does. So, the su merced information system, su merced information system, su mercado de la región central, your central region market, is a program, the very first project that helps all that 5 strategies. So, when you go to a logistic and distribution system like the food distribution system in the central region in Colombia and all around the world, you are talking about the location, 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 because everybody needs to make decisions based on locations. The farmers need to know where to sow. We are clear that not every terrain, not every land can produce all the food. Some lands produce some kind of food. Where to sow, what to sow. Many of the people don't have statistical or real data information to decide what to sow in their land. Once they started producing, they need to make the decision where to sell. And that information is important because they can sell the same product in 3 different cities at different prices, but they have to incur or make additional transportation costs. Where to sell? Where are the water? Where are the fertilizers, the packaging? All of that information is very important for farmers. Where? Location. The second location item is about vehicles and facilities because the fleet needs to know where and when to pick the food, where to deliver, where to store it, where to sleep the people who is driving the trucks. And the third one are the stores, and we're working hard with GS1 Colombia to define what is the size, the real size of the food demand in the central region, because we need to know what do the people eat. So we need to know as stores where the food is being produced, where what is available, how many potatoes, how many rice, how many maize, how much and when will be available. Is a lot of uncertainties that we have in different places, location. So the GLM makes answers about where and who are producing, who are buying, who are transporting, in the transportation business. But also we're working in defining the capacities of producing food, what to produce, how much do they produce, when will they produce. Also, we have working in this system in order to define or to decrease the quantity of middlemen. In some chains of food, about 8 different middlemen are involved in the business. So we made the information system, and the information system has a structure. The structure has 5 modules. The first one is the offer. You can read the oferta. The offer, they will write there, they will register who is being producing, how many hectares and square meters or square kilometers of, by example, tomatoes are being produced in their land, and they make the registration of all the people, the ages, and the quantity of people working, and all of that. By the other side, the demand will register who is buying, and they will know through the system because they will say the kind of tomatoes, the kind of potatoes, what do they buy, and when will they buy, and where do they need that. They will start working so that in a close future, we can make the demand being produced very close to the offer, and decrease the quantity of transportation. In the system, the people can make business and can control to, in the transactional module, is an e-commerce, they can make business, and through the distribution model, they can rent or can contract the transportation. But all of that information goes to the strategical module that keep information of the people that is being has been offering and demanding food, and will make suggestions about what to sow and where to sow and when to do different activities, and even he could recommend not to sow because it could be a bad business. And right now we're having an overproduction of rice, by example, but it happens with several frequency, is that there is a lot of offer of potatoes or tomatoes, and the prices goes down and the people lose a lot of money. This is an integrated system that takes the whole distribution chain, and we would like to that many people can get together and make business and know information. Now, it will not replace the traditional business system, but it will an alternative information system. But in the very bottom is the standards offered by the barcodes and the global location number that will let us make decision in the future when we make the pilots work. In the presentation that you will find this video. Is of course, sorry, is in Spanish, but it's an explanation of what do the information system covers. This is available for you. And this work is not being made alone for us. It's been an integrated work with the Ministry of Agriculture. We are working together in 3 different places because is there a program called Mi Registro Rural, my rural registry. It's a new law that makes mandatory to register the farmers. We have no unified register. So we take the advantage because we've been working on that 2 years ago, and now our standard will be the standard for the agriculture ministry. Also, El Campo on Click is a program based on e-commerce. We are taking advantage of that too. And the last one is Compras Públicas. It's a new law that is mandatory to buy the public buying of food by the army, the police, and the schools. Now it's mandatory to buy at least 30% of the food to rural, to the farmers, small farmers, and associations. So our system will be the standard to register that kind of negotiation to make true that law that will make possible for people to make business with the state. Especially now with the pandemics, we've been having an increase of the demand of health to the people. Our chance, look, what we are doing now is to change the way of thinking of the farmers. What we have really behind of all this is a digital transformation of the rural system, a new digital economy, the development of the agribusiness and technology information system, and new digital territories. And you will find next slide. Yes, thank you. This is the experience of the a dealer in a public market who changed the way of making business through the Sumerse information system, and it's an example for a lot of people who is making business with us in Sumerse. The next one, please. You will find that video too. Well, that's all. It's a good abstract of what we have been doing for 3 years, 2 of them with GS1 Colombia. And we encourage you to keep the work with processes like what we have been doing with GS1, and we will be ready to answer questions in the panel question. Thank you all.